You know you're going to have one of those days when your basement is full of water because your pipes are leaking. My day started out at about 5:30 this morning. I thought it was going to be a good day. Get up early, get myself a good shower, nice and warm, thaw out my rusty joints and whatnot. Yeah, that's when I heard the gurgling in the sink, and I thought, what the heck? And I realized that my bathtub was full of water while I was taking a shower, so I flipped and jiggled the drain, and nothing happened. Yeah, plugged pipes, gotta love them. Yeah. Say, did you hear about that magazine hoarder that was on the news here lately? Yeah, they had a lot of issues. Oh, bad joke. Anyway, let me tell you how the rest of my day went. It was windy enough, the piece of loose tin finally came off the roof of the old shed. And of course, that ended up leaning up against this, but it doesn't look like any damage was done to the new tractor. You know, I'd even thought about that and worried about it. But as it is, that's what happened. Anyway, I'm going to go inside and tell you what else happened today that made my day such a dadgum day that I should have stayed home in bed. Yeah, you know, one of those days. A bunch of us old farts that are single get together every Wednesday up at the laundromat to do our laundry. Well, I gave up playing poker with the guys there at the laundromat because I kept having to fold. Yeah, I don't know. My luck just seems to keep going in cycles that way. Well, let me tell you how the rest of my day went. I got done with my shower, got dressed, got everything ready to go for the day, to go to town, to the main town job. Get the truck fired up, back it out of the driveway ever so cautiously because it had rained all night last night, and then it froze with snow on top of that. And then this morning it was warm enough, the snow had turned to kind of a slushy stuff coming down. So it was super slick. I get out of the driveway, go down to the corner to head into town, very gently applying a little bit of fuel so I can get around the corner, and what do? I spin out in my own yard. Lots of fun. I'm sure the neighbors had a good laugh over that. Then about 1.5 miles north of me, I spun out again. I went past a structure, gust of wind caught me because we had really high winds that morning. I was all over the road because of it. Did a complete 360 in the middle of the road, ended up in the wrong side of the road in the bar pit. Thank heavens I missed a canal irrigation system. Yeah, if I'd have dropped into that, it would have tore out the whole underside of my truck and I'd have been pretty well without a vehicle of that sort. Anyway, yeah, then I get into town. Guess what? Totally clear roads, just wet, beautiful, 60 mile an hour all the way. And when I got to the in-town job, that's when the fun really started to happen. Now, where I work at in town doesn't normally allow us to have our cell phones on the sales floor. I did have mine in my pocket though, because I have used it to help look up things for customers to answer their questions. I don't ever have my phone on while I'm out on the floor though, so I don't get phone calls and that sort of thing. So I turned on the phone while I was sitting there in the break room, and I had 2 emails back to back. One was from the finance company that I was doing the loan through for the new LS tractor, saying they were trying to make a payment withdrawal from my account at my own personal bank. Well, the next text message after that, or email, was from my own bank. So I clicked on that real quick to see what was going on, thinking there was an issue. And by golly, my little pea brain, there was an issue because it said balance 000 all the way across my bank statements. Oh boy. And then it said scam. Well, after what's been going on with the farm show and the flea market and all that we were going to do here at the farm this summer, that put me in panic mode, and I'll tell you why here shortly. Say, do you know what sort of shopping can still be done where the United States federal government hasn't figured out how to tax you yet on it? Give up? Yeah, it's called window shopping. Oh man, that's another clunker. Anyway, I was in panic mode because of several things that had happened and why we are no longer doing the show all summer here at the farm. I had a food vendor lined up. They were going to sell Tex-Mex food. Really happy to have them on board. But I'd had an email from them, about a week before today, telling me that they wanted a refund of their money because they could no longer participate in my events out here at the farm. Okay, I was deeply saddened by that, but I thought, well, that's the way things go. Not a big deal. We'll just find somebody else to fill that void. So I write him out a refund check, put it in the mail. Same day, I get an email that night from the state of Idaho's health department. Oh boy, they wanted to come out and inspect things and meet with my vendors at a meet and greet that didn't even exist. Yeah, we weren't going to have anything like that for the food vendors. So I immediately could think of only one thing. They wanted to come out and start writing tickets to people and making revenue generation for the state of Idaho. So I immediately did not care for this individual that sent me this email. So between that and they were the ones that lost us our food vendor because the food vendor apparently wasn't registered with the state of Idaho as a legit food vendor. So there goes that. And then one day last week, I had an early shift. I get home an hour or so earlier than normal to find a highway department fellow in a highway department truck out at the entrance to the south field that comes in off the road with his measuring tape, measuring and taking pictures. He informed me that because there was a cedar fence across that null and voided any grandfathered in clause or whatever of the driveway that's been there into that field for over 100 years. Basically what he was saying was the fence was a permanent structure and it negated that entrance to the field. Even though I had been walking up to either side of that post that was in the middle of that driveway entrance, lifting either side of it, pulling it up out of the ground and removing those cedar fence rails, didn't matter. That fence to them was considered a permanent structure. Now that doesn't sound all that bad, except for they wanted 2 sticks, 20 foot long, 12 inches in diameter of corrugated galvanized steel pipe to be placed in the borrow pit for a culvert for runoff water to get from one side to the other. Doesn't matter, there's a ditch 3 feet on the other side of that fence. They didn't care. I mean, that rainwater in the ground is sloped, so any water coming off the road would have run into that ditch. They didn't care. They wanted a 12-inch culvert pipe installed. Had to be buried 6 inches below grade. And then there had to be 4 inches of 3/4 inch minus gravel applied above that, 4 inches thick, mind you, and 100 feet from the edge of the road surface that's asphalt into the field. All total, that was just a hair under $4,000. Yeah, $4,000 to be in compliance with the highway department over something that's been there for 100 years plus now. So, yeah, I found out later after the fact that a $250 check was a heck of a lot cheaper than paying to have all that done, and that check was to pay the fine for putting in a driveway that already existed. Yeah. Now, if all that wasn't bad enough to have to deal with, the next one came as a complete surprise to me. For about 3 weeks, I hadn't gotten a single vendor registration, and I couldn't figure out why, and I was starting to get really kind of dejected with the whole thing, if that's a good word to use. Yeah, it was rather depressing. I was feeling like my feathers got shot off, my tail feathers, that is. Until one Tuesday morning about 3 o'clock when I couldn't sleep, fire up my cell phone, go to my email. Somebody had sent me a screenshot of something that they had found on one of the 9 website pages where I'd done advertising for the show, in trying to get vendors to come in. It was very explicit in the heading above the photo of the farm and the sales, the flyer and all that sort of thing, on how to contact me for information on how to register to be a vendor. Very specific I was with that. Whoever the scammer / con artist is that is hitting this area horribly hard, managed somehow to block me as the administrator or owner of that advertisement for the show and replace me with them. Okay, now if that isn't bad enough, they put a QR code and a 4-digit number on a reply to this ad and tell everybody, this is how you do it. This is how you register for the 3 Mile Market to become a vendor. Unfortunately, some people scanned that code or entered it, however you do it, and entered that 4-digit number, saw the registration form that this outfit, the scammer con artist, had provided, filled out their information, put their amount in there for their payment of the spaces, and hit send. Well, guess what? That thing worked 2 ways. So the vendors that paid for spots, thinking they were paying me for the spots, oops, sorry, I hit the microphone, weren't paying me, they were paying this con artist. So one poor old fellow, he lost quite a little bit of money that I know of. Well, it's that same scammer that come after me and my bank account. That's where I was in panic mode. Fortunately though, my bank was very well aware that this scam thing was going on and blocked both transactions, one for the scammer and one for the tractor payment. So thankfully I showed up within the allotted amount of time at my bank and told them to go ahead and release funds to the other financial institution for the tractor payment. And at the time, didn't have to fill out another bank account for another checking account or whatever, because I was protected by the bank. So kudos to my bank. I appreciate you a great deal. So all you folks over here at First, you know who I'm talking about. Thank you so very much. Anyway, that's how my day went. So yeah, lots of fun. Hope your day went a heck of a lot better. That's going to wrap it up today from Nelson Craig Farms. As always, I'm Farmer Dave wishing you well and have a great day, and howdy and thank you to all of the new subscribers that we've picked up the last couple of days. And as always, if you would please, if you're watching this, it would mean a heck of a lot to me if you would right down there hit on that big red subscribe button and maybe even the little bell icon right next to it, and when the word pops up that says all, click on that if you would. That way you get notified every time there's a new one of these videos out. Until we meet again, y'all be careful out there and be safe. I'll catch up with you later. Bye-bye for now.